The Latin Nexus Business Networking Group is a community-driven movement that is dedicated to connecting entrepreneurs, leaders, and visionaries from all walks of life in order to build a better and stronger community for all of us to live, work, and create a future for our families.
Hello. Buenas tardes, mi gente, my beautiful people. Welcome to another powerful episode of Latin Nexus Networking Radio, where we build bridges for cultures, communities, and businesses from across Lehigh Valley, Monroe, Berks, and beyond. And I'm your host, Jeannie Ruz, founder of Latin Nexus. And today I have an amazing guest, a woman who has created community connections, networking in places where many people thought that they were invisible. She knows everyone's name. She knows every face. It's amazing, right? When you hear the name Alignable in this region, you automatically think of her. When business owners talk about support, collaboration, and opportunity, her name is always in the conversation. Today, we have the honor to welcome Maria Worth, ambassador of the Alignable Alliance for Lehigh Valley, Monroe, and Berks County, and a powerful force behind the Business Owners Trade Alliance. Please help me welcome Maria. I hear the doorbell, so we're going to let her right in. Hello, Maria. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Jeannie. I'm actually so happy to be sitting down because it's been Christmas cookie baking marathon time, and I've been on my feet since very early this morning, and so this is just lovely to be here.
It's like a break, but working, right? That's good. So I know you said you were baking cookies, and when you mentioned that, I was like, oh my God, I can imagine what your house smells like.
Well, it's quite a lot of stuff. Believe me, I have all kinds of requests every year for certain things, and so I can't let anyone down. We usually have about 5 desserts for Christmas Day. That's
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That would not be good for me.
Oh, it all goes away. Like by the end of the day, everyone gets their little box.
It's all gone. Okay, it's all gone. So Maria, I know that many of us know you through Alignable and your events. And I want you to just share a little bit because I think it's amazing. Well, what I really think is absolutely mind-blowing is how you remember people's names and faces. Because I've been to your events and there's a huge turnout. So please share with us how that came about. And yeah, just go ahead and we're just going to have a conversation. I just want to know who Maria is.
Sure. Well, I've actually been in business for myself for a very long time. I was actually a professional sculptor and I owned a museum reproduction company for 14 years. So in terms of being an event specialist, I actually did events for a living. So after that, I was in real estate for a while. And then in 2010, I started Business Owners Trade Alliance, which is a business-to-business barter company. And because of my event background, and I kind of love bringing people together, from the very start, we did events and trade shows. 2 weeks ago, we actually had our 15th annual holiday trade show. And so when I had the opportunity a couple of years ago to find out that I could start a networking group that was associated and supported by Alignable, I was very interested because I had done a lot of networking. I love people. I love connecting people. My job is basically being a matchmaker and connecting people to one another for trade opportunities. So the idea of running a networking group was attractive, and I had been on Alignable since 2018 and gotten so much out of it that I was pretty passionate about sharing that message and what it could do to help businesses, especially local businesses. And so I decided to hold my first event, and that was September 2023. As I suppose bad luck would have it, or good luck, I'm not sure which, but my business partner, my sweetheart, Scott, was having a pretty serious heart operation. And that was 2 days before my first event. And so I was a little nervous because he's usually with me.
Right.
And so, but, of course I had committed to doing it. And so, I showed up and, there's 30, 40 people there, all my friends really, that I just felt like, I supported myself. It was like a good feeling after going through that surgery and being worried and concerned. And Scott kind of kicked me out of the hospital and said, go ahead, do the event. And, ever since then, it's just kind of grown. And at one point, Dave Ravenald said to me, I'd like to start doing networking events in the Poconos. And I said, yeah, I would too. I said, let's do it. So at that time, my territory for Alignable was actually just the Lehigh Valley. So we founded Pocono Networking together. And then later on, I asked Alignable, could I advertise these events through my group and expand my territory? And they said yes. So then basically Alignable Alliance of Lehigh Valley became Alignable Alliance of Lehigh Valley Poconos. And then as I continued to expand and become more successful, I also added Berks into the events that I do through Alignable, because actually it's a very big area for me. And for Business Owners Trade Alliance, we have a ton of members there. And that's where we've actually held our big annual event every year. So with that being said, why I do it, why I just really love people, and I love connecting people, and I really believe in the power of networking. I do believe that you might meet someone and just come to know them and like them, and you might have something in common that seems very random and not to do directly with your business, but then become friends, and suddenly, somehow, some way, it all comes around. And I don't think I have to give you those examples, Jeannie, but I can certainly tell you, like, I've gotten opportunities not just for myself, but also for my children. And some of them pretty powerful and amazing, and also for my business. But now here we are. I'm in my, guess it's going to be almost like 2.5 years that I've been doing this, and I've held events with up to over 150 people in attendance. So
I've been in some of those.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy, and I have incorporated my past into it to make some of these events more fun, because as I said, I was basically doing shows and festivals for a living, and I love to support artisans and makers. So I've held some events where I've had vendors at them, and that's made it kind of cool and fun. We did one for December. Unfortunately, that day, but we still had a lot of people. It was pretty cool. And then I did the masquerade ball, which was probably the coolest of all. And so anyway, that's a little bit of my story. And, as far as Alignable is concerned, the thing that I love about Alignable is it's really not just about the in-person events. There is an online platform that allows people to connect before and after events. And you asked me about how I know everyone. Well, I'm actually able to look at the attendee list and see people's faces and their business. And so when someone walks up to me and I say, "Oh, so-and-so," they're like, "How did you know?"
You're trying to put a reason to why you remember this thing, but no, it doesn't work with my head, because I forget everybody's name. Like, some people, I remember them by face. Some, the names, it's not the right name. It's a name that maybe they used outside of business. So it's really hard for me. And I try to follow people on social platforms, especially when I'm going to attend an event. I try to follow people so that I can be prepared, right? So we do like our homework before we head out. And sometimes even then I'm like, oh my God, I cannot remember her name, So I don't know, it works for you. How many people do you have on the online platform right now?
I have 1,300 members, and I have over 7,000 connections on Alignable. Now, I don't know all of them, believe me, as far as those connections are concerned. But I do have kind of a freakishly good memory, so that
You
is
really do.
like I do
Because I've
have
seen it.
so yeah, I won't say that down, but not always. And I think that, you know, when we look at how we relate to people,
Right.
that it's also important that you're just very genuine about being like human and having strengths as well as
Mhm.
weaknesses. So
Right, right, right.
sometimes I won't remember someone's name or I
Right.
get it wrong, and and then you just have to make light of it. So I've
Mhm.
actually stood there and gone like, Melissa, 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 Melissa.
Well, I think that's what it is. I know some people tell me, if you say their name 3 times, it'll kind of stick. And I walk away saying their name, or I'll try to say it 3 times while they're in front of me, and I'll remember at the moment. And then when I get in the car, it's all gone. It's all fade. I'm like, oh man. So on my phone, I started doing on messages. I can put notes. So when I meet someone, I do 2 things. I take a picture with them and then I send it to them through text so they can remember me as well. And then on the notes, I put the event I met them and maybe something about the conversation that we had that was memorable, like that I can touch on it again when I do cross their paths. Because I think that's really important when meeting. I'm a people person. Let me quickly ask you. So I know you're very much a people person. How did you manage during COVID? Because everything was shut down. How was that for you?
Well, everything that we did was always in person, and we have a pretty big territory. We have
Right.
members all the way to the border of Maryland in central Pennsylvania, and then up into the Lehigh Valley, the Poconos more recently. So we used to drive to York for a meeting, or Lancaster, Harrisburg,
Right.
and suddenly here's this COVID thing, and then one of my members, who did this in person workshop
Mhm.
down at the Northeast Berks Chamber, she like, well, we couldn't do that anymore, so she basically started to do the same thing on Zoom, and
Mhm.
I attended, and I really had not done a lot of like online meetings at all.
Right. Right.
And so I said, Kim, I said, now I guess I got to do this, I got to figure this out. So she just taught me how to, do everything on Zoom. I created a PowerPoint, and we started meeting with people on Zoom from thereafter. And actually, it was really kind of a blessing because since then I have had, wow, just maybe 4 or 5 or 6 meetings, like, initial introductory meetings with people. We haven't done a lot of driving to
Mhm.
places.
Right. Right. Right.
Frankly, like our whole platform, the trade marketplace is all online. So
Mhm.
by meeting with people online, I'm actually able to take them through screen sharing directly
Mhm.
into the marketplace and see everything,
Yeah.
which is, a lot easier to do
It's very
when,
convenient.
when
Yeah.
you're like this. That if you're like in a Panera's, right, and you have your laptop and you're like, wait, hang on a second, and then you like hand it over to them, it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
it was,
It does.
in a sense, it created like an innovation that I never would have probably thought of, or been, I would have been afraid, because I think before COVID, a lot of people just felt like you were rude if you said, let's meet on like Skype or Zoom or something. It was just not normal to do that. But now I can do that with someone who's in Bethlehem or even in the same town,
Mhm.
and they don't think that that's odd. They think that's like normal.
Well, it's everybody's norm now to meet in
Yeah.
person or virtual. And I see Mildred here. She posted, she's the same. She can write it down, right? And then she has to remember where she wrote it. I think that's all of us nowadays. Like we're so caught up in so many activities going on a daily basis that sometimes we lose track of what we're doing. But I know that so you mentioned your trade and it's BOTA, right? So it's Business Owners Trade Alliance. So if
Correct.
I was someone, I read into it so that I can see exactly, because you mentioned it to me before, but I wasn't able to attend your last 2 events, which I know one of them was in, I think it was the airport, which was a
Yes.
trade, if I'm not mistaken, and I wasn't able to attend to that one. But I would like for you to explain it to someone that maybe they don't have a business going right now. They have just a vision of what they want to do. And I think that what you have to offer through BOTA is something that I wasn't even aware of, that the possibilities of that. And I also read how because of this business, you're able to help other people grow as well. So can you share with us, like, if I always say, like, if I'm in the 7th grade, right? So I always say, explain it to me so that I can understand it. And how is it that if there's a business out there that maybe wants to be a part of it, what is the benefits that they would get from it, and how would they also help others benefit from their services? If that's not a lot, I'm sorry, I know that was like a lot.
Well, yeah. Well, way back when I had my other business as an artist, I'd go to shows and somebody would walk up to me and
Mhm.
they'd say, "Hey, you know what? I do that jewelry over there. I love your crosses. Would you like to trade?" And I was like, absolutely. I mean, I traded and bartered so much. Crafts
Mhm.
people do that a lot because they're at a show and it's a cashless exchange. So it helps
Mhm.
everyone, it saves everyone money. And businesses do it all the time. And the only reason probably that they don't is when one side doesn't need what the other one has. So, like if you're a website designer and a tree service guy comes up to you and says, "You know what? I really need a website. I'm either short in cash, but you know, I, I could do your tree work." Well, if that website designer lives in an apartment, that's like the end of that relationship. It's not going to happen.
Right, right,
So,
right.
what a barter exchange like Boda, and there are hundreds of them all throughout the world, does is they basically create a trade dollar, which is equal to the American dollar or to whatever the country's currency is.
Okay.
And so when that website is done, that tree service company, let's say it's a $3,000 website, $3,000 the account of the tree service company to the website designer. So they
Mhm.
have that website designer now has 3,000 trade dollars to spend.
Okay.
So do they have to spend it with the tree service guy? Absolutely not. They might never need to have those services. They
Right.
might need to get advertising done. So let's say they would like to advertise on a radio or in a magazine, or
Right.
they'd like printed business cards. They have access to every one of all the thousands of businesses that are involved. So
Wow.
they choose what it is that they're going to buy.
Mhm.
And so what it does is twofold. It helps the website designer basically kind of crush the competition, because if there are 1,000 other website designers out there that
Right.
that tree service company could have chosen from, what are they going to do if they can go out and get a new job that they
Mhm.
didn't have to advertise for? We send it their way. They do
Right.
the tree work. They have the $3,000 in trade. They're going to use someone who's in that in network, because that saves them money,
Right.
and it also helps them because they keep on getting more and more jobs. So everyone basically is engaging in trade through Boda. Number
Mhm.
one, to grow their company, get new customers, because obviously when a website designer does a website, other people see it. They don't
Right.
know how it was paid for. When someone does a tree job, they put their yard sign up that they probably bartered for too,
Right.
and they get the neighbor's job, or someone down the street that sees that this tree work was done, and
Mhm.
then that person that had the work done gives the business card out of that tree service company, and hence they grow through word of mouth. So it's really a powerful thing,
Mhm.
especially businesses that are looking to grow,
Right.
because they're getting everything that they want and need at a discount, because basically, let's say they have a cost of goods, if it's a baker and they have to buy some flour and sugar,
Right.
well, they still have a profit there. So it
Right.
makes more sense for them to buy things at their cost of goods than it does to spend $100, 100% cash out of their
Right.
bank, because that drains their operating capital. And obviously, that's not a good thing. You can keep that cash for the
Right.
things that you can't trade for, like your mortgage, your gas that you put in your car, etc.
Right. Okay, okay, that's wonderful. It's amazing how many resources there are, and a lot of us are not aware of them.
Yeah,
Because yeah, I only knew you from Alignable, and then when I went back to, I was searching, I was like, who is Maria? Because I know you from there, but I know you're so much more. I saw that you have gotten awards and stuff, which we're gonna talk about very shortly. But yeah, continue what you were gonna say.
yeah. I was just going to say that what I said when I said to you that we're not the only one, we're actually one of hundreds of barter companies that work together.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of create this universal currency, and that makes it possible for my local members to do business with other members of barter companies nationwide and even worldwide. So, for instance, one of our members is going to be in February going to Anguilla, which is this beautiful island in the Caribbean, and taking her whole family. That's all going to be done 100% trade. Wow. So it's kind of incredible when you actually look at the whole platform and see like all the stuff that you can do. But I mean, our focus is local in terms of, obviously, we're working with people in Eastern and Central Pennsylvania. And then when they want something out of the area, or if they're looking to travel, then we can connect them to one of our trading partners. So anyway.
Wow, that's awesome. So I know that you have had awards and you have been outstanding in many areas of your field. Can you share with us maybe one of your, I don't want to call them promotions, but one of like your recognitions or that really impacted you because you knew that, I know a lot of us get recognized for things and we're like, oh, you know what, that was really nothing. But that you say like, wow, this was very like, to be awarded, to be recognized in a field that you're very passionate in everything you do. But when, sometimes when we give and then nobody really sees it, right? But to be acknowledged, because I know I was going through a rundown of things that you have been awarded. It's amazing the things that ChatGPT could dig up by a person's name. It's a little scary, but I saw that you were awarded as Woman of Business, I think it was. I can't recall right now off the top of my head, but what are some of the recognitions that you say that have helped you even?
Well, Alignable has had a contest, the Small Business Person of the Year contest, for several years. And because Alignable is very community-based, it's actually town by town that people can win the Business Person of the Year award for that town. So I've won that award since, I believe, 2018 or 19, every year. But just because, quite frankly, Jeannie, I have so many, I already knew so many people. So organically, without even really trying, like I just invited a whole bunch of people to connect with me on Alignable. And so I had a lot of connections that gave me obviously a leg up. I wasn't starting from scratch. But at one point, like last year and the year before, I was actually in the top 20 in both the US and Canada, so in North America.
Wow.
That was pretty cool because there's 9 million businesses on Alignable. So being like in the top 20 out of 9 million was quite an accomplishment.
It's huge, but you know what? It all comes down to your personality. Like when I went with the one that you do in the Delta Hotel, that's about 300 people, I want to say, right, that attend that event. And like you walk in and it's like we can spot you from a mile away because you're not standing just talking to one person. You are literally trying to get to absolutely everyone in that room. And I think that business owners, entrepreneurs, and everyone that's just visiting or attending one of your events, they see that and they see that you are not only hosting the event, but you're going out your way to actually connect with each person there, which is really difficult because I know that people want to pull you to their section so that they can give you their information, but the fact that you make it out to everyone, like when I first met you, the fact that you even knew my name, I was like, how does this lady know my name? Like I just messaged her, it was just like, it was insane because the room was packed, and one thing that I learned is that if there's a name that we all like to hear, is always our own, right? And when there's something about when you walk into a room and people say your name, it makes you feel, not that you're important or anything, but acknowledged. And that's what you do. You make everyone in the room feel acknowledged. And the business. That is why you continue to win that award. that is the reason why, because you really do. And not only now you're here in East Stroudsburg, people are recognizing you here. When I knew you, you were still not here in East Stroudsburg.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden somebody was like, oh my God, you need to go to this event. Her name is, and I was like, I know her. I was like, I know her. Because I travel. So you know that I'll travel an hour like to events, I have no problem traveling. So that's where I met you, was probably in Lehigh Valley, I believe it was, or something. And just the fact that now people that are surrounding me, now they know you as well. That shows the impact that you are making within the business owners, right? So I'll meet somebody, they're like, oh my God, have you met Maria? I'm like, I know Maria. I'm like, I know her, So it's just wonderful to be connected and associated with people like you. And I'm so grateful to having met you and be part of your circle, because it's people like you that we look for. They always say, who are the 5 people that surround you? And when I can select a group of people that people are mentioning them to me so that I can go and meet them and I already know them, I feel honored, So I'm super, super excited to know everything that you're doing. So with Alignable and Boda and everything that you are doing, what are the new projects that you have envisioned? Because I feel like you do maybe 1 or 2 events a month, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. At least 2 a month. And I'm sticking with 2 for next year because I have done
That's a lot.
I've done 3 in a month, and there's just not enough time for me to do just like my work when I'm doing that many. So, but in also in a certain sense, certain events that required a lot of planning and a lot of thinking, once you do them once, like the masquerade ball is a good example, that was so much work, but now I have it all down pat. So, you can kind of like work out some of the kinks, and then the next time around you can do it faster. So
I'm not going to miss that one next year, because people are still talking about that one. They're talking about the mansion and everyone's costume. So I feel like a little bit bummed out that I missed it.
There's going to be one there in May, Jeannie, and I'm not going to say anything yet, but I'm going to be talking to you about it, because I will tell you one thing that I like. And I just, when I started doing the events, I was like, okay, well, how is February going to be different than March? Right. So I decided to just, my little cover images, and sometimes the things we did at the events would be seasonal. So I had the St. Patrick's Day party that was actually also an Alignable Awards celebration at the same time. Right. So I told people, hey, whatever you feel comfortable with. Like, I don't ever want to tell people they have to wear green or they have to wear, a mask or a costume. Like, you can show up however you feel comfortable. But oh my gosh, people showed up with like green lights on their heads. And they were just so happy to be at like a party atmosphere. So I like to do that every once in a while, to make it seasonal and to make it celebratory. Right. It's funny that, like, one time somebody, because like you say, why are you always trying to make sure everyone is like feeling seen? It's because I think, and everyone else has walked into a networking event and everyone turned their back and be in their little cliques. And I had that when I was in like elementary school and middle school and high school, and I was like on the outs. So I don't want anyone to ever seem like that. So I'm very sensitive to looking at that, making sure no one is in that position in my events. But in addition to that, I think if you are having fun and you're making it a little bit more loose and not so stiff, that people who even come in and maybe are a little bit nervous, they see like everyone is having fun. But one time somebody said to me, they said, it seems like you're always celebrating something. And I was like, and it wasn't like a compliment.
Oh no.
It was like,
like, what are you celebrating about?
Why don't you get more serious? I don't know what. So then I was like, that's like my tagline now. I'm always celebrating something, and I'm not going to be, feeling ashamed of it. I'm going to feel like that is what we should all be doing. We should, come, and not always with a smile. Like, I'm always okay with somebody coming to me and like maybe they have like a real serious concern and they do want to have that conversation somewhere. That's okay too. But I also want to have fun, you know.
No, no.
Why
And
not?
it's important because you do make it like a celebration. Those of us that like to celebrate really appreciate it. And it's crazy because I was speaking to someone yesterday. I'm not gonna mention the name, but someone we both know, and it was the same thing. It was about that we do events and we try to do things that make us feel good by knowing that we make others feel good, because maybe in a point in our life maybe we didn't have that, so now as adults we want to make sure that we cover all the corners, right, and make sure that no one is left out. And that was literally our conversation when we bumped into each other yesterday, and it's 100% true. I think that is what makes your events, it pulls so many people, because it doesn't matter where you're at. Because I know you did one here in East Stroudsburg. I remember it was pouring. And even with that, it was full, and it's because of that, because it is a celebration. It's a celebration of each individual business owner, right? Not only are we networking, because that's really the purpose why we go there, right? Is
Yes.
to network. But even with strangers, when we cross paths, it doesn't feel business. It feels like you're building a new relationship.
Yeah.
And that is because of what you're bringing to the table. I think if you were someone that did not celebrate and just showed up to have a room full of people, I don't think you would get the feedback of the people attending that you're getting right now. Because then it would just be another networking group, people passing business cards. But it's like you mentioned in the very beginning, you said something. You said people are making real connections. And it's not only real connections as far as business, but also you don't know how, in what other way you can connect, right? So I met people that they've met in your events and now they're still friends and I see them everywhere together, right? So it's really connecting and building real unique relationships where you're trusting the person so you could give referrals, right? Because also I always say when you're giving a referral, like if I'm recommending Maria, I'm not Maria's not gonna walk into your house. It's gonna be Maria, but it's Jeannie that's walking into your house because they're trusting me. And your events, that is what your events does, because the people that follow you are to be trusted. At least I've never come across someone that is not to be trusted. I'm sure there's one or two, because not everyone is the same. But thankfully, that's never been my case. Everyone that I've met in your events has been absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And it's because of the energy that you bring. So if I was able to give you an award right now, I'd give you another award because I think it's wonderful. So I do events and I know how crazy it can be. Do you have a team? Do you go about this yourself? How is it that you envision, if you're doing two events, that's 24 events in a year?
Correct.
Do you have a team, a power team? Because that's a lot.
Well, I have done partnership events with multiple people. And so sometimes I'm usually the one doing all of because like I said, I was an artist. So I'm doing the cover images, I'm doing the event flyers, I'm doing the social media, the promotion. My first job before I started my own business was working for not only in publishing, but for a public relations and marketing firm that specialized in the entertainment industry. So actually Larry King was one of our clients, and various authors and entertainers and singers and so forth. So I learned that whole process of how to promote, and I'm a good writer. So that part is always usually mine. I don't mind if somebody finds a great venue and do an event and I'm into it, like the basketball. Somebody else kind of came up with the idea, and because they know I can draw a huge crowd, like because I know how to get people to come to an event because I'm gonna make it fabulous. So nevertheless, if somebody has an idea and I'm into it, then I'll say, yeah, let's go, let's partner and do it. And by doing that and people knowing that there's going to be a lot of people, we've gotten some great sponsors. Like we're doing an event actually at Harley Davidson on January 13th. And it's a partnership event with Friends of Pete and Valley Networking. So there's our three groups, which are kind of the three networking groups in the Valley that are together. And there's going to be some great guest speakers. Dr. Jeff Bullock is going to be speaking on AI. And I think is very cool is the CEO of Harley Davidson himself, Bob Eckstein, is going to be speaking about his entrepreneurial journey. And I think you were there for that event when Dante Trapasso spoke about the Swiftwater.
Yes.
And I think it's amazing to get someone of that stature and that level to speak at an event who has experienced such great success. And so we're going to be kind of doing the same thing in listening to what Bob has to say and how he's expanded from Keystone Harley Davidson to now being Keystone Triumph as well, building this amazing building that Boyle Construction built, which is relatively brand new. That was a huge project. And a lot of, great development for the Valley, keeping jobs here. And so anyway, with that being said, that's like my next event, and it is a partnership event. And for me, it's different because it's actually a lunch and learn, and all the events that I've done prior to this have been all evening events.
Right. No, lunch and learns. I love lunch and learns. You get a lot of information, a lot of detailed information, and with AI, it's oh my god, it's just moving very fast. AI, I can't even catch up. It's a lot, but always with me, you can always count on me. Anything you need, that I'm more than happy to share it with specific people for you, as well. Let me ask you. So you have the lunch and learn coming, you said May?
It is January 13th.
Oh, January 13th. What do you? Oh, the May is the one you're going to tell me later on.
That's okay.
That's the secret one. Okay.
I have to get the yes from the venue before I put it out there, obviously.
I'm sure it's going to be absolutely wonderful if it's top secret. But yeah, so what are any plans, any other things outside of maybe Alignable that you're working on, or are you only working on Alignable right now? I don't think so.
No, I mean,
I don't think.
I have hundreds of clients out there that I'm connecting to trade opportunities on a daily basis. Like that's what I do every day, all day long, in between doing all the events and planning the events. I'm actually also secretary of the board of the International Reciprocal Trade Association, which is the largest governing body for the entire trade industry worldwide. So collectively, there's over 100,000 businesses that are involved in this. And this is the way that I was saying to you that all the different barter companies can come together and they can basically expand trade opportunities for their members. So any of my members, for instance, that sell products that want to get it out to a wider marketplace, I can blast it out to all the trade brokers out there in the whole wide world. And, I've gotten business, like, for instance, for my coffee company, all the way out to San Francisco. He has a regular client out there.
Coffee company?
Well, oh, yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, that's a really good example of somebody, Rich Pavlik of Blind Bean Roasters, who owned a cleaning company. And when he started his coffee company, he got basically sick and tired of the cleaning business, really wanted to go into coffee business. And so he used his existing trade dollars that he had earned from his cleaning company to get his website for his coffee company, his bags, his logo, even a coffee roaster. I mean, so many different kinds of things that he did to start that business up. And so, one of the ways that he earns trade is not just from local members, but also blasting him out to the, to the whole, nation, if you will. So he has like a big restaurant group out in San Francisco that buys from him now. And so, it's pretty cool. And being on the board is kind of the same thing as with Alignable. Like, I'm passionate about Alignable. I love Alignable. I love the trade world. And I want to have other people know about it, that we exist. So I actually started up their social media campaign that we started up like halfway through 2025. And it's actually one of my members, LMG Marketing, Lamaris Rodriguez, that did the new website for the International Reciprocal Trade Association. So I got her that job. And I got her the job to do the social media management as well. So that's kind of cool to me. And it was cool to her too, because it's a great thing to have in her portfolio.
So this is worldwide, you said?
Yes.
So anyone, anywhere that is listening to that wants to be a part of that, the trade, and see how they can grow, they can connect with you. How would you say what is the easiest way that they would be able to connect with you for that specific?
If they go to my website, my contact information is there. My phone number, same thing on Alignable. You can get my phone number there. So to simply get a hold of me. And I have many people, believe me, on Alignable with 9 million members in North America who come to me and want to join BOTA. But if they're in Colorado or in, Florida, I'm going to direct them to my Florida trading partners or my Colorado trading partners, because it makes more sense for them to have that local support. But I'm always happy to have that conversation and to send them, to whom I think would be a good fit for them in their business.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I am definitely going to be speaking more to you on that, because I want more information, and I know that a lot of people that are in my local area can find value in what you do, and I know they would love to be connected with you as well. I am going to ask that if anyone is watching, please share this video so that they can get in touch with Maria. She is absolutely wonderful. Not only get in touch with Maria, but also follow her. So really quickly, Maria, before we go, being that you're so busy, what is it? Do you have any hobbies? Do you do any getaways? How do you kind of have downtime, like a relaxation? We're women, we need to unwind.
Well,
Don't tell me it's baking cookies.
I am like a big time baker. Like, as a matter of fact, the first business I tried was baking, and I was like, wow, this is so much work. I have so much respect for people who are professional bakers. So I do that for fun. And I have since I was very young. So that's one of the things. I mean, of course, I used to be an artist. And so, occasionally I'll, pick up a paintbrush and I'll do a little bit of painting. It took me a long time though to get to that point where I wanted to do that, because it was my profession. Like, I was doing it every day, like cranking out stuff, painting. And then it was like, I'm done.
You should do an auction.
I'm sorry, what?
You should do an auction if you have any paintings.
Actually, I still have pieces, believe it or not. If anybody wants to see what I used to do, you can go to www.historicimpressions.com and you can see my work. It was a pretty cool business, pretty fun. But like I said, sometimes you just realize that you need to change. And so I'm not sorry at all. My kids grew up going to festivals, which they just cherish. They really enjoyed it. I took them. My son was 9 weeks old when I took him to his first event, and he was in his little baby Bjorn here, and I was working and wrapping pieces, and so I feel like it was a really wholesome kind of way for them to grow up, and a lot of fun. But anyway, so.
No, that's wonderful. You're going to give me the information so I can share everything. Sure. I want the historical for your painting. I want the BOTA. I want the alignable, all that information so that we can forward that with the video. Once we're sharing the video, we're going to put all your information for contact. So any closing thoughts, Maria? Thank you so much for being here. Anything that you would like to share? So maybe the business that is trying to start, or a business that is feeling stuck right now. Any advice that you would like to share with them?
Well, my mother gave me a refrigerator magnet that I still have hanging, and the title of it is "She Who Never Gives Up." And that is just really kind of me. I just have this attitude that I'm going to push forward, and I'm going to keep on problem solving. And, the businesses that I actually started, other than the art business, which I I was an artist since I was very young, went to school for it. But other than that, I just really had to learn everything from scratch. And I didn't start with like a huge amount of money or anything. So, I would say that just keep on thinking about different ways that you can move forward in a more successful way, and always think about your customer. Because if you're thinking only about yourself and what you want, you have to sell to someone. So you have to also look from the other side when you're deciding, how you're going to move forward in your business to be successful.
Yes, 100%. So I thank you so much, Maria, for being here. Please, very quickly, where can people find you easily?
Sure. My website is www.botatrade.com, BOTATRADE.com. Business Owners Trade Alliance is on Alignable. So you can simply go to Alignable and search for Business Owners Trade Alliance and connect with me. And obviously, all of my contact information is on the website. Yes. And I do pick up my phone. Like, this is like...
You really do.
If anybody wants to say hi, chat, they can just...
Yeah, you're wonderful. You're wonderful, Maria. And I thank you so much. And I thank everyone. I thank you, Mildred, for coming on. She's been active, putting comments, and I really appreciate that. I am going to ask, please, everyone to share, like. This information is very valuable, and that's what this platform is about bringing people here like Maria that are amazing and are not going to give up, so they're going to continue. So they're going to keep finding more new resources for you. But I thank you so much for being on the show today. And as always, thank you to everyone that I'm going to ask, please like and share and subscribe to the page. This is the PA Empowerment Network. So please subscribe, because this is the only way that we get this information. We have other amazing hosts on this platform, and they're bringing in their views and their information. And if you subscribe and you share, guess what? You're opening the door for more people to be able to get this information. So once again, I thank you. And for us Latinos here, I'm going to give a shout out, because today is Navidad for us. So we are celebrating. It's December 24th, and we're celebrating in memory of all the great things that are happening to us. We're celebrating our families and gifting each other gifts. And hopefully you keep in mind that it's about being grateful. Today is a day about being grateful and remembering the purpose of why we are here today. Okay, so I want to thank all of you. This is Jeannie with Latin Nexus Business Networking, and I'm here every Wednesday from 4 to 5. And next Wednesday, I have a really good one, because I know you're planning your New Year's resolution. So I'm going to have an amazing speaker talking about that and how we start a New Year's resolution that only lasts maybe about 20 days, so how to change that in your way. So I hope that you plug in on Wednesday from 4 to 5. And I thank all of you. Okay, so reach out to me if there's any topic that you want me to touch on, or anyone that you would be interested in hearing. Okay, I'm Jeannie Ruz. You can find me on any platform, and have an amazing and wonderful Christmas. Love you guys. Bye.